Hi Libra, and welcome to your April 2024 horoscope. I hope you are excited for April because April is excited for you. April has packed a lot for you. So in April, we have a solar eclipse, we have Mars conjunct Saturn, and we also have Jupiter conjunct Uranus, which is actually a transit that only happens once every 14 years. I know, it's a big boy. Let's get more into what you can expect day by day in the month of April. On April 3rd, we have Venus conjunct Neptune in your 6th house. It's actually such a beautiful conjunction, having Venus and Neptune together. It brings this sort of loving, spiritual type of connection, a sort of transcendent and unconditional type of love. And what's interesting for you, Libra, because this is happening in your 6th house, it's almost as if you are able to elevate your day-to-day routine, elevate you taking care of your physical body to almost like a spiritual level, that you're really making a routine and out of your routine, that you're really making it as sort of like a love ritual to yourself and showing appreciation to yourself and your body. On April 5th, Venus enters Aries, or your 7th house, and as it does that, it sextiles Pluto in your 5th house. If you didn't know, I did a whole 1.5 hour live on Pluto, breaking down the planets and what it means for each of the houses. So if you want to check that out into more depth, I'll leave the video right here for you. But just for the context of this April horoscope, Pluto in your 5th house is teaching you the meaningfulness and the beauty you can bring back into your life by being in touch with your inner child, by playing and having fun. And now that there's this sextile between Venus and Pluto, with Venus in your 7th house, it's almost as if your partner is helping you get in touch with your inner child. You know, perhaps you're doing a fun date with your partner that brings you closer together, but also really allows you to bring your inner child out and laugh and giggle like you did when you were a child. On April 8th, there's a solar eclipse in Aries in your 7th house. So because this is an angular house, you might feel it stronger than others, Libra, but there's nothing to worry about. I'm sure you got this. I believe in you. So the solar eclipse is a new moon, which means that both the sun and the moon are conjunct in your 7th house. The sun and the moon are in the decan ruled by the sun. And to me, this symbolizes that we're more likely to act from our ego during this solar eclipse rather than the true, deeper parts of ourselves. Because Mercury is also retrograde during this eclipse, try not to say things that will be too hurtful, because often during a Mercury retrograde, our words can be misinterpreted as well. And for you, especially Libra, this is with your partner. And if you're not in a relationship, it's possible that this is something that you'll experience more with really your closest friends, or maybe even with a business partner. Mars conjunct Saturn in your 6th house on April 10th. Mars wants to go. Mars has an amazing idea about a new workout class that you want to try. But Saturn says, oh, actually, sorry, the workout studio is closed today. So this is just an example on how this may play out in your 6th house, Libra. It could be that you want to take some actions to set up new routines, to take care of your body better. Maybe you want to go for a health checkup with the doctor. But Saturn is making it a bit difficult. Saturn is perhaps slowing your efforts down. Keep in mind with Saturn, it's never actually preventing you from reaching your final destination. It's just putting a wall in the way and asking you to reconsider and maybe go a different way. On April 17th, we have Venus conjunct the North Node in your 7th house. This is at pretty much the same spot that the solar eclipse occurred in your 7th house. So I see this day as a wonderful moment to reflect on the solar eclipse. If it was quite emotionally charged for you, Libra, and during the solar eclipse you were just trying to survive, then on the 17th, you could have enough distance and enough emotional distance as well to be able to actually look at it from a different perspective and to think about what happened and what the universe was trying to teach you. On April 20th, we have Jupiter conjunct Uranus in your 8th house. This is the big boy that we talked about at the beginning of the horoscope. This happens only once every 14 years. Good thing to note about this Jupiter and Uranus conjunction is that literally on the same day, the Sun also enters Taurus. So there's really this extra potent Taurian energy. And at the same time, Jupiter and Uranus are sextiling Mars. Jupiter has been traveling through your 8th house for a while, Libra, for a year actually, so it's not that long, much shorter than Uranus, certainly. But Jupiter might have been making it really easy for you to bond with others in a meaningful way. Perhaps you don't even have to try, but somehow the connection with those close to you ends up being one of the most beautiful and meaningful connections you've ever had. At the same time, you've had Uranus traveling through your 8th house as well. And Uranus brings the highest highs and the lowest lows. So you might have also experienced the highest highs, the beauty and love that you can have with somebody when you know them truly and deeply, and you still accept each other for the way you are. Or you could experience also the lowest lows, where you really see the dark parts of this other human being, the parts of them that are not so lovable, the parts of them that you don't want to look at and you wish were not there as well. And the way I really see this Jupiter and Uranus conjunction is them sitting down for coffee and having a chat about what they each learned. So I really think this conjunction can bring an epiphany, can bring a revelation on what you have learned with these two planets traveling your 8th house. What have you learned about how to have unconditional love for others? What have you learned about what it means to be vulnerable? What it means to show your naked self, all of the parts of you, the parts that you don't like as well, to others, and to trust that they will accept you and they will love you, and that if they don't, then they're not the right person for you. Just a day later, the Sun travels just a degree more into Taurus, and as it does that, it squares Pluto in your 5th house. So this is a square, so it's a bit more of a tense aspect. And we chatted earlier about Pluto and the lessons you're learning to get in touch with your inner child. And I really see this day as the tension you might have between dealing with some very real, non-childish things in your partnerships, the very real dark parts of ourselves that we all have, that we don't think as children. But at the same time, there's this part of you that just wants to have fun and to enjoy and to giggle and to, play with your toy trucks or whatever else you want to play with, color pages or paint or whatever. And there's this real tension with dealing with these parts of life that are really not so fun to deal with, but at the same time, wanting to escape and just wanting to have fun. On April 24th, we have a full moon in Scorpio in your 2nd house. The full moon means that the sun and the moon are on opposite ends. So if the moon is in Scorpio in your 2nd house, then that means that the sun is in Taurus in your 8th house. So a lot of 8th house focused for you this month, Libra. This full moon, what could happen is that the beautiful relationships that you're navigating, the parts of yourself that you're vulnerably revealing to others, and in turn, the vulnerable parts of themselves that they're revealing to you, could be really shining a light on the parts of yourself that you still don't accept. The parts of yourself that you want to hide, that you don't love about yourself, and that are maybe also affecting your self-confidence. And it could be a really beautiful full moon to realize that actually these are parts I want to integrate and really own, and really claim them as a part of me that I also love and appreciate. On April 28th, Mars conjuncts Neptune in your 6th house. On this day, you might be taking action surrounding your day-to-day routine that are not just for the benefit of yourself, but for the benefit of all of humanity. I really see this conjunction for you in the 6th house, Libra, as you saying, okay, every morning I am going to take 30 minutes as part of my morning routine to go to the beach and clean up the trash that I find on my walk there. So you're really looking at what parts of the day-to-day routine that I do can I adjust in order to benefit all of humanity. It could even manifest as something like, okay, when I usually travel to work every day, I go by car, and now I want to switch that and I want to cycle to work or go by public transport so that my actions can benefit positively towards the rest of humanity and the planet Earth. And finally, we close off the month with both Venus and Mars going back home. They're each returning to the signs where they feel comfortable. So Venus is entering the sign of Taurus, and Mars is entering the sign of Aries. After a crazy April, I do think that the 30th will feel like a breath of fresh air. It will feel like there's like light at the end of the tunnel. And it'll feel like hope, maybe like even spring is coming. And it should feel a lot easier for us to also express our emotions, both more difficult and more easy emotions as well. So overall, Libra, April is a wonderful time to focus on setting up a routine for yourself, and as well to focus on your relationships and becoming even closer with those that you love. So thank you so much for joining me today, Libra. I hope you're excited for April. Let me know in the comments, what part of your day-to-day routine do you want to adjust? Or is there a part that you want to add in your routine? I would love to hear. Make sure you subscribe so that you can catch the May horoscope coming up next month. And I hope to see you again soon.